What's going on, Dolphins fans? It's Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and in today's video, we're going to be previewing the Miami Dolphins' upcoming matchup against the New York Jets in Week 15. It's crazy how fast the season's already gone, and man, have there been ups and downs, and we're going to get right into that now, starting with the Dolphins' offense versus the Jets' defense. Obviously, these are both two really good units going head-to-head. I'm going to go over the stats real quick. Dolphins' offense is second in points per game. Jets' defense is 8th in points allowed, which, all things considered, the Jets being 8th, despite how awful their offense has been up until last week, very impressive. We all know how good this Jets defense is. Dolphins are first in passing yards per game. Jets are second in passing yards allowed. So, once again, neck and neck in terms of passing yards and passing yards allowed. And the Dolphins are second in rushing yards per game. And this is where the big discrepancy is. And we saw that the last time we faced them. Jets are 28th in rushing yards allowed per game. So, that's where the Dolphins need to look to take advantage. And that's the first key of the game, is to run the damn ball. We got to be able to establish the run, because not only does it help set up the play action game, which makes passing the ball much easier, especially against a tremendous defensive front and secondary, but then it also helps keep them off balance. They can't just tee off on Tua, and we can't have success with this potential offensive line if we're passing the ball 50-plus times a game. And some notes heading into the game: Robert Hunt is ruled out. Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, and Devon Achane are all listed as questionable. So, in history, Mike McDaniel has been very cautious with injuries. If they're questionable, they tend to be ruled out. But after the debacle of last week and the urgency of making the playoffs, potentially he changes his general cautiousness. I don't even know if that's a word, but and guys that are questionable that he probably would tend to lean to sit, he plays, because of how we just need to get back on track. I feel like I'm expecting that. So all those guys that are questionable, I expect to maybe play. Where last week, if you told me that, I would probably say, oh, they're probably going to sit. So very interested to see how that goes. But obviously, I said the first key of the game is to run the ball. Second one is to limit mistakes. I just listened to a quick podcast clip from people that I respect mightily, Brett Coleman, on what they see from the Dolphins. In my opinion, we lost last week because of just simple, stupid mistakes. And that's kind of what they said as well. But they are also speaking from a penalty perspective. Like, this offense can't overcome those stupid false starts or holdings that we get occasionally. So overall, we need to be able to limit them, as well as just improve our pure drop back passing game, which has been weak all year. Obviously, if we have the play action game going, it's been good, but just straight drop back has not been all that good. So really just need to limit those mistakes, because those is what literally beat us last week, between the fumbled snap, the miscue with Devon Achane, that would have been probably touchdown, the blocked field goal, all of that contributed to the loss. Last but not least, the key for me is to keep Tua safe, man. This offensive line's got me scared. We might have a center who hasn't played or started a game in years. Three offensive linemen are questionable, and we already have two of them that have been ruled out. So we might have an entire backup offensive line if those guys questionable don't play. It is quite horrifying. So just keep Tua safe, man. Like, the Jets offense isn't that good. If we got to win 6-3, we got to win 6-3. But keep Tua safe, man, please. Players to watch for the Jets defense: they got a lot of people. Like I mentioned, they're one of the best defenses in all football, and they deserve that recognition. They've been dogs. Quinnen Williams, we all know. C.J. Mosley, Sauce Gardner, D.J. Reed, Quincy Williams, Bryce Huff, and Jermaine Johnson, all guys to look out for. They've got a very good defense, so it's going to be a difficult game for this Dolphins offense, especially with the injuries up front. So honestly, I'm not expecting the Dolphins to go light the world on fire. I genuinely just want them to focus on pounding the rock, limiting mistakes, and keeping Tua upright. I think if you do that, honestly, like, I'm just trying to win. I'm not trying to run the scoreboard up. I'm not trying to get all these big explosive plays every single down. Literally just play. I don't want to say passive offense, but like, you just got to do what you got to do to win. I just want to honestly run the ball the entire, and don't even start running the ball once we're trying to like hold the lead. No, literally from the get-go, just pound the rock, make them stop you. That's what we did against them in the second half of last game that we played them. I was at that game in MetLife. Just started in quarter one and just keep it going. So that's the offensive breakdown. Now for the Jets offense versus the Dolphins defense, we'll go over the stats real quick. Jets offense is 29th in points per game. Dolphins defense is 21st. Jets are 29th in passing yards per game. Dolphins are 12th. Jets are 30th in rushing yards per game. Dolphins are 7th in rushing yards allowed. My bad. What did I say? 7th in rushing yards allowed. I'm getting these numbers confused. That's on me. Notes for the Dolphins defense. Deshaun Elliott's already been ruled out. Holland, Xavier, and Andrew Van Ginkel are all questionable. And the big one there, in my opinion, is Javon Holland, because we saw how the Dolphins defense looked last week when both starting safeties were ruled out. There was miscommunications and there were bad plays made. So I'm hoping we have Holland back, because he's a huge contributor on the back end of this defense, not only for his communication, but we all know the range he provides. And we didn't see the kind of breakdowns in coverage we did last week when Holland was on the field. So I think that's a big reason why. So hopefully we have some of those guys up. But the defensive keys, in my opinion, number one, take away Garrett Wilson. It's so funny. I was going to make this tweet. Thankfully I didn't. But I was going to credit Vic Fangio for how well he had taken away opponents' number one receivers in recent weeks between, aside from the Devontae Adams game, there were a couple times where we just completely eliminated. Travis Kelce got eliminated. I'm trying to remember. Garrett Wilson had gotten eliminated, but we were doing a good job. And then DeAndre Hopkins came and said, yeah, okay. So that was brutal. So I don't know what happened. I don't know how much of it was on play calling, how much of it was on the players. I feel like a lot of it looked to be on play calling, but we got to be able to take away their top targets. So take away Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Thankfully, the Jets don't have that much success on the ground. I think last week, despite their offensive success, they ran the ball 10, 12 times. So I'm not too worried about their rushing attack, and knock on wood, just because they don't believe in it themselves. So hopefully, just take away Garrett Wilson. No miscommunications on the back end is my second key. Like I said, if both starting safeties are out, that's going to be trouble. But with Brandon Jones and Elijah Campbell, they got to step up. Don't have big miscommunications in coverage like we had saw at the end of last week. And the final key of the game, and this is something I noticed a lot, get pressure. We lacked it last week, and that's once again why they came back. We weren't able to get pressure when it counted, and we had miscommunications in the back end of the defense, and that just spelled trouble. Whether Vic Fangio's got to blitz more, or we got to have the guys get after the quarterback, whether it's Bradley Chubb. Christian Wilkins has been doing pretty good, but Bradley Chubb, Van Ginkel struggled in my opinion last week. Just got to be able to get after the passer and not have him have 5 seconds to throw the football. So those are the keys of the game in my opinion. Players to watch for the Jets offense, obviously, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson, question mark? I mean, he had a great game last week. Hopefully he's not able to continue that in this upcoming game. Hopefully the Dolphins just get after him and make him look bad like we did last time we played the Jets. Dolphins are 9-4. I'm 9-4 with my predictions, and 20-10 including last year. So I've picked the Dolphins to win every game. Obviously, that's why my record is the Dolphins record. I don't think I can stray away from picking the Dolphins this week. I'm really hoping we have blood, red in our eyes, and we're just trying to get revenge and try and take the anger out on the Jets and just put our foot on their necks and stomp them out. I don't know. I'm not necessarily confident in that happening just because of how banged up we are offensively and how good this Jets defense is. So I don't think we're going to be able to blow them out and take out our frustrations as much as I would love that. So I'm taking the Dolphins winning 27-17. I think it's going to be a kind of close game. By any means necessary, Dolphins just got to climb out of here with a dub. Comment your score prediction down below. Appreciate you guys for watching, and until next time, I'll catch y'all.